Hi budget babes, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here or returning, guys, it is Jaliyah.Kreationz. Let me switch this out and put the blue pig. You guys know I'm extra. Okay, there we go. It is Jaliyah.Kreationz here, guys, and I am going to be doing a weekly budget today on my TikTok. You know, I like doing weekly budget. I have blue on and everything, guys. I like doing weekly budgets. Outside of live, they're just easier to do. They're more lengthy. You guys can always go back and watch them. So I'm going to be doing one of my clients' budgets that I did here on live, who owns my planner. Her name is Kathy. So we're going to be doing Kathy's budget. I did do this budget here for December up into the beginning of January. So I'm going to show how we're going to close out December and then work on January and all that good stuff, guys. So we're going to go ahead and fill everything in. So it's going to be a December, half January budget. And I'm going to be getting just straight into it. So the first thing you guys can do right off the bat is fill in your calendar, of course, for December. I'm not going to fill in the calendar because I already have this budget done and already ready to go. But what you would do is you'll fill in your calendar as well. But the first thing we're going to do is, I meant to write Kathy's name right on the top, y'all. But her goal here is to save and pay off debt. So save for a trip and pay off debt. Oh my gosh, y'all, I don't know what's going on today. Save for a trip. I'm like all over the place. So her goal here is to save for a trip and to pay off debt. I don't know why I wrote this way, y'all. It's going to drive me crazy. You know what? I'm going to do a new sheet because it's going to drive me crazy. If you know the perfectionist and the perfectionist of me wasn't going to let that slide. So we got Kathy here. Save for trip / pay off debt. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to know what the monthly income is after tax, so we can create a monthly budget. So guys, we're going to do a monthly overview so we see what's coming in, what's coming out. So the monthly income is going to be $5,200. I don't know why I'm messing up today, y'all. I guess I'm a little antsy. So we got a monthly income of $5,200. So now we're going to go ahead and write down our fixed expenses. So remember, guys, fixed expenses are going to be our expenses that are usually the same every month. Car insurance, phone bills, utilities, you're going to put how much you average. These are going to be all your bills that are usually the same every single month. So we know that we need to pay those, vice versa, whatever the case may be. So we're going to go through and write down our fixed and what dates they come out. So the first one we have is going to be 12/1. Which is going to be rent here for $1,500. Then we also have 12/3. We have our lights here. And it helps to put this in order too, guys. So when you're budgeting, it just makes it simple. So if you can write these in order, I definitely recommend doing that. So go ahead and write that in. We got rent, lights. The next one we have here is going to be the Wi-Fi here. So 12/10, this is going to be Wi-Fi, which is going to be $100. Then we also have, what's the next one? We have water that comes out on the 10th as well. Water, which is going to be $100. The next one we have as well that comes out on the 10th is our car payment, which is going to be $600. And then we also, what else do we have here? We have Wi-Fi, car payments, car insurance comes out on the 14th. So 12/14, car insurance, which is going to be $480. What else do we have here? On the 16th, we have one of our loans that comes out. So we got loan number 1, which is $90. Then we also have we got our car insurance, we got the loan, we have another bill which is going to be our phone, $12.21. We have our phone bill here, which is going to be $123. And then we also have our last loan, which comes out on the 27th. It's going to be loan number 2, which is $180. So just like that, you guys, we went in and wrote down all of our fixed expenses. Now let's go ahead and write down our variables. So credit cards, gas, groceries, eating out, personal care, all that. I'm going to go through and write this in, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, just like that, we added up all our variable expenses. We have some Klarna and some Zip in there. So we're going to go ahead and add up all our fixed. So we got rent for $1,500, lights for $300, Wi-Fi for $100, water for $100. Then we got $600 here for car payment, $480 for car insurance, loan number 1 for $90, phone for $123, plus loan number 2 for $180. That's gonna bring our fixed expenses here to $473. I think I'm missing something here. Hold on. So we got $1,500, $600, $480, phone for $123, water for $100. We got a loan for $90, then lights for $300. I got $34.73, but when I previously did this budget, I had $100 more. Am I missing something? Let me re-add it up one more time, you guys. 1,500 plus 300. Okay guys, maybe I overquoted for the first budget. So our fixed expenses here total to $34.73. So let's go ahead and add up our variables. So 100 plus 100 plus 400 plus 50 plus 300 plus 50 is going to be 1,000. So 1,000 plus 34.73 is going to total us to $44.73. So our total of expenses for the month totaled to $44.73. So what we're going to find is our cash surplus. So our cash surplus is going to be the money we have left over after our bills and expenses. How we get this number, we're going to take our full income in this case, which is going to be $5,200. And we're going to minus it by $44.73. So let's go ahead and do the math here for that. 44, 5,200, 5,200. That's going to be $727. Sorry guys, I'm recording little snippets on my phone for the TikTok fam. You guys know how I am. Sorry. Sometimes I like to, when I'm doing multiple content, I like to take little clips because it's so nice to do it in real time. Like I hate just recording after the fact, but that's neither here or there, y'all. So our cash surplus is $727. So this is how much we're supposed to have left over after bills and expenses. So guys, what we are going to do here, we are going to break this down to a weekly budget. So how do we break a monthly budget down to a weekly budget? The first thing we're going to do is, this is why it's important to fill out your calendar book. Your calendar is going to show you the weeks of. So we know the first week of November or December here, December 3rd. We would have to start with the ending month of November. So we'll have to start with that ending week of November here to start our December budget. What I mean by that is we're going to have a week that has some layover here. So with that being said, week November 29th to December 3rd would be the beginning of the month for us technically, since, you know, the months kind of lay over here. So what we're going to do here, we're going to set up a weekly budget. We're going to write down all the weeks of the month. So I'm going to go in and do that really quickly. And then we're going to write down what bills come out and when we're paid. So that way we can decide what bill goes to each check here. Okay guys, now that we wrote in the dates of the month, we're now going to go through and write down what bills and expenses come out within that month and what income we bring in that month. So the first week of the month here we have is going to be December 29th to December 3rd. We roughly bring in $1,800 this week. So the monthly income here is going to be $1,800. So between November 29th to December 3rd, we for sure need to cover rent for the 1st of December. So we're going to go ahead and write down our fixed expenses. These are the bills that we have to cover. We want to make sure we prioritize our fixed first. So we have rent for $1,500, and then we also have to pay lights. So we got rent and lights here, which is going to be $300. So in total, that brings our fixed expenses exactly to $1,800. So we wouldn't have any room for variables this week. So we wouldn't be able to grocery shop or do any miscellaneous spending this week. But for their previous check they had before, previous check would cover bills and groceries. That would cover all our other bills / groceries. We only have enough this week for $1,800 to cover our expenses. So we don't have a cash surplus this week. 1,800 minus 1,800 here is going to zero us out. Because we don't have we don't have any variables, or we only have 1,800, it covers literally our rent and our lights for this first week. So this first week is going to be a little tight for us, you guys. So our fixed total is 1,800. We're maxed out here. Kathy's aware that that's her little tighter week. So the next week we bring in $2,700. Our income for the next week is going to be $2,700. That's how much we bring in. So with this $2,700, we need to see what bills come through between December 4th to December 10th. So December 4th to December 10th here, we automatically have the car payment for $600. So we know we need to fill in the car payment for $600. What else do we also have? Let's see here. We have water that comes out on the 10th that will need to be covered with this check. So we got water. What else here? And then we also have Wi-Fi that comes out on the 10th. So we're gonna go ahead and put Wi-Fi here, which is going to be $100. So Kathy does get a check every week, which is really nice. Some people don't get a check every week, but she happens to get a check every week, which helps us for sure. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and add up our fix. So our fix total to $800. With $800, that's all for our fix. So let's go ahead and figure out how much we need to spend on our variables. So this is going to be groceries, gas, personal care. We couldn't go grocery shopping last week because our previous check had to cover that. So what we're going to do here is we for sure probably need some gas. So our gas budget is $300 per month, which almost breaks it down to $60 weekly to an extent, or $60 here every 2 weeks, or whatever way you want to break it down. But we're just going to go ahead and get some gas, some groceries. Our grocery budget here is $400. So we're just going to go ahead and spend $100 this week. And then we'll also do some personal care this week as well, since we don't have such a tight bill week. So we have personal care for $25. So let's go ahead and let's add up all of our variables. So let's take our little calculator. Sorry, I have my little Pomeranian fur on there. 60 plus 100 plus 25 is going to be 185. So 185 plus 800 is going to be 985 for our total expenses for the week. So what we're going to find, guys, is our cash surplus. Our cash surplus is going to be the money we have left over after our bills and expenses. It's the same thing we did over here. We're just breaking it down to a weekly basis. So we're going to take our $2,700 and we're going to minus our $2,700 by $985 because that is our total of expenses for the week. So $2,700 minus $985 is going to be $1,715 that we have left over. So the $715 is going to be our leftover. And I'm sorry, she gets paid, is it bi-weekly? I think she has 2 different checks, so she won't be paid again this next week. So we would have to take whatever we have left over and pull this. I think she's paid bi-weekly and she may have had a bonus check. I did this budget some time ago, guys, but the income for this week, there's no payday. So no payday for this next week. So this $1,715 would be our leftover. To cover us. And I want to emphasize that there's no payday there. So this is where our extra cash surplus will come through and help us until we get paid again. So now we need to go through and see what expenses come out between December 11th to December 17th. Alright guys, I hope you guys can see everything okay and it's not like blurring up, because that's something I'd be worried about when I'm like recording in the sunlight. I'm like, I don't know if you guys are going to get the best quality. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our bills from December 11th to December 17th. So what expenses do we need to cover here? So from the 11th to the 17th, we have car insurance that's going to come out here. So we're going to need to cover car insurance, which is going to be $480 would need to be used for the leftover money we have to cover our car insurance. And then loan number 1 also comes out this week. So we got loan number 1, which has a $90 balance on there. So $480 plus $90, let's go ahead and add that up. Those are our only fixed expenses that come out in this time frame. So $480, oh, I don't know where this hair keeps coming from. $480 plus 90 is gonna be $570 here. $570 is our total for our fix. Now let's go ahead and squeeze in our variables. So we don't have a payday week, so we're not going to try to put too much on our plate. Let's just go ahead and fill up our tank here. with $60. And then let's also get groceries just in case we need those. So we don't have an income that comes in this week, and we're using our leftover money from the previous week. So we just want to make sure that we're stretching here. So it's going to be $160. So we're going to go ahead and add 160 plus 570. It's going to be $730. Now with this $730, we're going to go ahead and find our cash surplus with the money we have left over once again, which is going to be $17.15 minus $730. It's going to be $985. That will go in our savings because the next week we are paid again. So we're going to go ahead and put, let me zoom my camera in. Sorry guys, I hope you guys are able to see things in our savings. It's $985 will go in our savings. Because we get paid again the next week. So now we're going to start going to these other weeks here, guys. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. I thought I pressed record, but I didn't. But what we're going to work on now is our bills that come through December 18th to the 24th. So we know for a fact we have our phone bill that's going to come out. We also have loan number 2. We might as well cover that with this check as well, since we won't be paid again. We got loan number 2, which is going to be $180. We also have Klarna here. I'm just going to add it to the fixed side for now. We have Klarna for $100. And then we also have Zip, which is going to be $100 as well. So we know for a fact we have to cover those bills within this time frame because those are the bills that come out. So what we're going to do here now is we are going to add up our fix here. So we got our phone bill for $123. Our loan for $180, and our Klarna here for $200, which is going to be $503 for our fix. So now we're going to do the same thing with our variables here. For the whole entire month, we've already spent $300 on groceries. Our budget for groceries is $400. So we're going to go ahead and spend another $100 on groceries. I'm sorry, we spent $200 on groceries. So we're going to go ahead and get some more groceries this week. We still have some groceries left in the budget. We're also going to re-up our gas tank here, which is $60 almost every week. And then we're also going to squeeze some more personal care in here because we do have a personal care budget of $50. So we might need to re-up at this time. So let's go ahead and add up our variables here and let's see how much that cost. 100 plus 60 plus 25 is going to be 185. So 185 plus 503 is going to be, our total expenses for the week is $688. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and find our cash surplus again. So we're going to take our monthly income here minus our, hold on one second. Okay guys, so now we're going to find our cash surplus again. So our cash surplus is going to be the money we have left over after our bills and expenses. We're just doing this on a weekly basis. So $2,100 minus $688, which was our total of expenses for this week. $1,100. $2,100 minus $688 is going to give us $1,412 left over. So this is when it starts to get tricky again, guys, because this next week coming up, we're going to have our rent and our lights out again. So this is our leftover. We don't get paid this next week that's coming up. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull from our savings. From December 25th to the 31st is going to be the first week of January here that's coming up. we're going to need to cover rent. So we wouldn't technically get paid again till farther down here. So we're going to have to use what we have left over, also pull from our savings. So remember, our cash surplus is $727 for the whole entire month. So right here, we reached a $985. We had $985 left over. So we're going to need to pull $985 from savings. So we're going to pull this $985 from our savings from right here. We have to take from our savings to cover this week that's coming up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our leftovers plus our saving, which is going to be $1412 plus $985. This is why it's good to decide what you're going to pay off at the end of the month. So whatever your cash surplus is, you could decide at the end of the month. So we're going to take $985 plus $1412 is going to give us an income here of $23.97. With this $23.97, we are going to use this for the expenses that come out between the 25th and the 31st. What expenses are those again? Let's see. We already covered our loan with the previous one, so we don't have to worry about that. But for the first of the month, we do have to worry about rent and lights. So with this check for sure, we'll need to cover rent, which has a balance of $1,500 each month. And then we'll also need to cover our lights, which has a balance of $300. So right off the bat, we have $1,800 for our fix, and then we're going to go ahead and add up our variables. So we'll probably need gas again for $60, and we're going to go ahead and top off our groceries. This is why it's so important to keep a cash surplus or to put money in your savings and aside. At the end of the month, you can decide with what you have left over if you're able to possibly put something in your savings or put towards your debt here. So our total for the week is going to be $19.60. So now we're going to go ahead and find our cash surplus, which is going to be $23.97 minus $19.60. So $23.97 minus $19.60 is going to be $437 that we are able to put in our savings for the month. The next week we would get paid again. So that's how much will go in our savings. That is our cash surplus we see. So guys, see right here, our cash surplus is supposed to be $727. It just depends on how many weeks are in the month as well. But we should be seeing $727 at the end of the month. We did have a leftover here, and we did have a leftover cushion there. So in total, it should have totaled to $727. It just depends on when your cash surplus hits. So we may not see the rest of that $700 cash surplus, the $727, until the next month, if that makes sense. The reason why you possibly won't see it to the next month, guys, is because sometimes you have weeks where your bills overlap. So in this case, we had a lot of overlapping going on, but she still has a chance to save and pay off her debt. Usually the bills repeat here. So from the beginning, we had rent and our lights. We took care of our expenses there, so we were just covering our rent and our lights. But now we have an overview here of what's going to happen for the whole entire month. So once again, budget babes, I hope this helped you guys figure out how to set up a weekly budget. Once this budget starts to get very content and repetitive, we'll take the cash surplus we have left over, possibly put it in our savings, and work towards paying off debt. So if you've ever seen me do a debt payoff, the next steps we would do with this budget is we would take the money we have left over and potentially put it in our debt tracker, our savings tracking jar, and possibly get these loans or this Klarna and Zip paid off, because that's an extra $200 back into our cash surplus. So it's going to get repetitive again in January. We're going to have the same steps repeat. for the next budget coming up here. But I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a wonderful start to your new year. Bye.